Did you know the IRS just hired more than 50,000 new agents? Most of these agents specialize in collections and are mandated to audit small businesses and increase collections on individuals. IRS notices can be intimidating, but waiting to act could cost you your valuable taxpayer rights. Don't try to handle the IRS alone. These agents are trained to trap you into agreements designed to collect as much money as possible. Don't pay thousands of dollars to a marketing company claiming to be a tax resolution firm. Get behind the shield. The enrolled agents at Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services are experts at tax resolution, protecting taxpayers' rights, and are federally licensed to represent taxpayers before the IRS. Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services has the knowledge, skill, and experience to assist you with audit representation, liens, levies, offers and compromise, innocent spouse relief, wage garnishment, back taxes, and more. Don't lose sleep, time, or your rights as a taxpayer. Make your appointment today at elite8financial.com to schedule a consultation and get the IRS off your back. Get behind the shield.
This is Dr. Tamia Guest with Rejuvenating Chiropractic.
This is Nara Reed with Modified Nutrition Health Coach.
This is Karen Marcel with June Street Barbershop.
This is Tiffany Marcel with Marcel Luxury Realty, and you're listening to Boss Talk Radio.
Welcome, everybody, to Boss Talk Radio. Glad to have you back. As always, got a hot guest in the building, and this one is super special. I know y'all saw the title and was like, what the hell is George up to now? But not every day do you get to see a supernova. Well, I've had an opportunity to have a front row seat to watch this become a supernova. In fact, true story, you probably won't believe me, and one day I'm going to find proof, but I actually held a supernova in my hand. One hand, the palm of my hand. But you guys ask me all the time, well, who is that singing on your intro and everything? And our guest today actually wrote and sang and even produced that wonderful intro clip that I've gotten married to. It's like my theme music when I go on stage now. So do a couple things for me. Number one, check in, let me know where you are watching from, leave your name so we can shout you out and all of that good stuff. And then, of course, get your little iPads or your notebooks. I don't know which generation you're in, but get whatever you take your notes on, because as always, we're going to have some gems coming to you in Boss Talk Radio. So we will be back right after this.
Welcome to Boss Talk Radio, the #1 online business and entrepreneurial talk show. Brought to you by Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services.
Boss Talk Radio, keeping it real, yeah, that's for sure. I said a Boss Talk Radio, here for your needs, we'll crack the code. He the boss.
He gon' fix your situation like there ain't no time for wasting. We ain't playing when we saying
he the boss.
And if you ever have a problem, he gon' show you how to solve it. Listen in and he'll show you he the boss.
Talk
Here's your host, the Texas tax expert, George Dandridge.
Talk Radio, here for your needs, we'll crack the code. He the boss.
So today on Boss Talk Radio, we have the Louisiana-born, Texas-raised quadruple threat. She is a singer. She is an actress. She's a dancer. She's a writer. She's been performing for over 15 years. She's open for the Texas Rangers. She's open for Kirk Franklin and Alice in Wonderland. She has over 15 films under her belt already, and she self-financed her first LP just back in 2021, I'm sorry. And we even have a sneak peek to one of her unreleased videos coming up today on the show, as well as a major announcement. Welcome to the show, everybody, Miss Jada Jay.
Hello.
Superstar, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm so happy to be here. Let me tell you, I was bopping. I was bopping when I heard the intro. I was like, hold on, these lyrics catchy. And then I remembered I wrote it.
Yeah, like no, I was in Atlanta at a conference, right? And I was like, you got to make sure they turn my music up real loud. And the guy cut it off like right as my foot hit the stage. I was like, no, you got to play that again. You got to play it again. Keep going, keep going. And I might be a little biased, but honestly, I think that's your best performance ever. The soul in it. I might be a little bit biased, just a little bit, you know. But so we're gonna get right into this thing. I told everybody just a little bit about you. I know some of your followers are checking this out today, and you may be your face may be new to some of my audience, but they definitely heard your voice. I get inboxes all the time wanting to know who that is. And God, let me tell y'all something. Like I wasn't about to go through that whole bio. Because if I did, y'all would have thought I was introducing Patti LaBelle or somebody. Like, she's only 22 years old. And, you know, the thing that I love is, and we're actually going to talk about this. So, long time ago, long time ago, about 17 years ago, you said to me, I'm going to Hollywood and I'm going to be a superstar. Now, I'm sorry, 5-year-olds all over the planet are going to, you know, their teachers, parents, etc., telling them what they're going to do and practicing what you want to be when you grow up and everything. And most of them change their mind by the end of the week. Some of the better ones, they change their mind around the end of the month, right? So 17 years, and here's the crazy part, and you've been working at it for 15 years. Where did that discipline, commitment, like kids don't commit like that? Where did that come from?
If I'm being completely honest, I don't know. I just have always been the type of person that's been like, if I want it, I got it. My mom is a very, very hardworking woman, and she has just been such a perfect role model of working hard and never giving up. And she's always encouraged and instilled like that drive and ambition in me. She always told me that success isn't about how much money you make, but it's about waking up every day and doing what you love. So that really stuck with me. And with that sticking with me, I was always trying new things and doing new hobbies all the time. So anytime I had an interest, I was like, I want to do this or I want to do that. And I was like, I want to do it now just to see, because a lot of people, they like to talk, but I wanted to walk the walk. But if I'm being completely honest, what made me kind of want to stick to it is just having my mom supporting me no matter what and just making me feel like I can do anything. And always having a family that was going to back me up no matter what. Like my family didn't look at me and say, well, maybe you should do this or maybe you should do that. A couple family members, but majority, everybody was like, you go girl, you go baby, or they're recording me and encouraging it. So that always made me go, I can do anything I put my mind to, and I didn't care. So I've always been a very confident young woman, and just having the confidence and then the support system behind me, I feel like gave me that drive. And I always just wanted to do it. I saw other people doing it my age on TV and everything. So I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. So that's really just what gave me the drive to want to do it, because I saw other people my age doing it. And I'm not going to lie, some of those people, I felt like I was a little bit more skilled in certain areas. So I was like, if she can do it, I can do it. So, yeah.
Well, speaking of your mother, I happen to know that young woman. And so long time ago, about 10 years ago to be exact, I was like, hey, we should put her on YouTube or Facebook. And she was like, no. And so let me ask you this. You have like really accomplished a lot. Like, I'm sure the Sam Jacksons and Morgan Freemans of the world, it's like, damn, I wish I had got a shot that soon, but you've accomplished so much in a short period of time, but at the same time, you've been doing this so much longer than the time period in where you have, these accomplishments or what have you. How did you stop from getting discouraged when your mom's like, yeah, you can do it, but you can't do it right now?
Well, I had so many other hobbies and I was so concerned with so many other things. My mind is always going. So it definitely has its pros and cons with your mind always going. So I always did other things to fill in the void. And also, I feel like I just took that time to really work on myself and get better. So I was like, okay, not yet, but when I do, I'm going to be ready. So I just took that time to really just get better and learn from others around me, seek advice. And because honestly, I knew that if I were to go out there and everything, honestly, whenever my mom did try, I will say that she took me to a lot of different things, no matter what, because I would beg and I would ask. She took me to a lot of open calls, and a lot of the open calls were pretending to be major casting networks or which is very, very common, that leads actors astray, which I'm going to get into very later. But all of those companies marketing themselves as agencies, like talent agencies, but they were really training agencies. So every single time, my mom knew we shouldn't have to pay for anything. And every single opportunity that we would hear about, they would always say, oh, she's great. And they would always choose me, always, out of all the finalists, or I would be their top pick every time. But it was always, she is so amazing. We believe in her, but she needs, some training, which is accurate. Everybody does need training. Even the best of the best still have acting coaches or vocal coaches. You do need some sort of training. You should always be practicing your craft, because I personally believe that there is no such thing as just making it, truthfully. And I'll explain that later, but I don't believe in just making it, because there's always room for you to grow and get better. I don't think one person just has everything figured out. But really what just kept me going was that the fact that my mom tried, and she tried. And even one time when there was like a model search, I made it to the finalists, and they were like, we would send her to LA and everything. And I was like, I don't want to go. And I really didn't. I did not want to go, because it was for modeling and I didn't want to model. But I'm sorry, if you're going to sing and you're going to act, sorry, you're going to have to model a little bit. But that's the thing. I wasn't aware of everything in the industry and how things really go. So we would go to these scams 24/7. Well, not really scams, but training agencies marketing themselves as agents and agencies. And I was like, you know what? My mom at least tried. So that's what kept me from being discouraged. I was like, I can get better. And just seeing that nobody doubted me, that's one thing that I'm really grateful for, is that throughout my entire journey, there's one thing, not even bullies could say, nobody has ever told me you aren't talented. Nobody has ever told me you aren't going to make it. So I can say that's a blessing, but it also comes with a bad side too, as well, and feeling a lot of pressure. But honestly, what just kept me going, what just made me not want to give up, was the fact that my mom did try, and the fact that people saw my talent, acknowledged it, and always pushed me to do more and gave me constructive criticism to get better. So I wanted to be better and work on that before I went to the next level.
And even right now, because it seems like, I remember seeing you in high school plays amongst some like super talented people. I was like, wow, and but it seems like from that point to now, which has been a short 4 or 5 years, you have this very diverse portfolio as well. And I've been hard pressed to figure out, like, okay, how do you keep walking through the next door when this one didn't work out? How do you fix your mind to say, okay, I didn't get this role that I wanted, but they put me in the movie as something else, and so I'm gonna show out, in this other role. Like even the Kurt Warner movie, I was like, wow, she's in the Kurt Warner movie. So you've done like films on different levels, Lifetime, etc. And you like never come across like you're too big for a role, or that a role is too small for you, or you've worked with people from every walk of life already, and it's like there's so much in front of you, so many opportunities in front of you. How do you stay grounded in all of this when you're just shining so bright?
Well, before I touch that, I do want to touch on what you said midway. So with the smaller roles, or what people would view as smaller roles, and wondering about like, oh, why would you go there or take that type of role and all that, is honestly because in high school I was humbled immediately, and I faced a lot of challenges because of the color of my skin. Because I had a director who didn't want a colorblind cast, and she would love doing theatrical productions that was in a time period where African Americans weren't the front face. So I was always singing doo-wop in the background. And if there was a lead where there was a minority character, then she would just throw out colorblind casting and would throw me in the front. So honestly, what prepares me to be like, okay, you know what, I'll take this role, even though it's a supporting role, is because even whenever I was the doo-wops in the background, somebody always picked me apart or came up to me and was like, my mom said that you were my favorite dancer. I was like, dancer? Okay. I always prided myself on singing, but thank you. Or, oh my gosh, your reactions were hilarious. You really added to the scene. So really being in the background made me appreciate being in the front, because it showed me that without those people, the show wouldn't be nearly as good, or you really wouldn't even have a show. If we're doing a scene where people are supposed to be doing a protest and I'm the only person on stage compared to 20 people in the background, that speaks volumes. So really just getting that experience in the back made me appreciate being in the front. So I'm not opposed to taking a supporting role instead of a lead, because I'll tell you one thing, I do that supporting role so much justice that every single time I've gotten called out and my talent has been recognized, and doing those supporting roles has helped me book even bigger roles. Has the way I carry myself, my professionalism on set has made people say, I want you to be the lead in my next projects. Or even the director saying, you started off as a supporting role. Because most of the time, it's really all who you know in this business. So most of the time, the leads have been a smaller role in the director's film before, or even just have been a friend of a friend, or just somebody who the directors really wanted to work with because they seen from a different project. So even like having the experience of just being picked up and being said, I want you to be the lead in my next project, made me understand how the business just works. So I don't take it to heart, to be honest, because I will say that I've gotten roles where I didn't even really have to even audition, because people have seen my other work, or people, or my reputation preceded itself and my work ethic spoke for itself. So
I've actually witnessed that firsthand. I went to one of your premieres, and you didn't have the leading role, but it was a major support role. And after the film, you got like bombarded in the hallway. Like everybody was like, even the directors went at it, like, you have new fans over here. They want you to. I was like, she's gonna need security in a minute. But
yeah, it's almost every film.
I think what you said is also true in life, that you have to build relationships, and you also have to, and I actually talked about this in a post the other day, you have to show up 100% all the time, regardless of how you got there. Because there was this thing circulating about not invited, don't go, this, that, or the whatever. In that process, I thought about, the number of times that being in the room created an opportunity that if I had the big ego at the time, wouldn't have been there or whatever. So I think that's a life lesson. I'm surprised, kind of, not really, to hear from you. So one of the things I want to get accomplished today is I want to see if we can bridge, I guess you can call it bridge the gap, grab some understanding, because a lot of people in my generation look at your generation and they condemn so much of what you guys are doing. And I'm of the mindset, well, who the hell are we to judge when in reality, we did some pretty stupid stuff. We just didn't have cell phones recording it, at every turn and that sort of thing. So you guys have a whole different dynamic of life to deal with, not to mention, a whole dynamic of technology to deal with. But even within that, lazy is lazy. And poor work ethic is poor work ethic. So I've seen, excuse me, people make a great deal of excuses about what they do not have, and that being the obstacle to them getting to where they want to go. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, but you have so much more than we had. Like the George Jetson thing here, the ability to turn this on. I'm going to turn this on and look at it and talk to somebody that's not here. Or I'm going to perform a whole concert and put it out into the universe for everybody to see. Like, you weren't known outside of your block, or at best case scenario, your zip code, if you were a neighborhood store. There's access to the whole world at your fingertips. My question, because I know you were, is he going to get to the question? My question is, what do you believe separates people like yourself who are constantly chasing their dream, willing to put their own money behind themselves, all while being, did I mention to y'all that she's graduating college tomorrow, and she's been on the dean list since she's been in school, while taking all of these roles, making albums? Like, what type, like, what strange phenomenon are you in a generation where they're saying they don't have enough opportunities or whatever? What is it that, like, because you're around other people like you, so I mean, it may not be that strange to you, but when I put 10, 22-year-olds in the room, it's like, okay, is anybody gonna do anything without instruction?
So what separates me? I would say not being complacent. And also just not being content without growth. So I'm always setting goals for myself. I've attended leadership conferences at school, and they would tell you about the importance of writing your goals down and writing a deadline to hold yourself accountable for that. So I used to always write goals down. And then whenever I realized that setting like a deadline just kind of made me work harder towards the goal and just held myself more accountable towards it. I found that helped more. But I feel like it's also the inability to be satisfied with not achieving my goals.
Mediocrity. Go ahead and say it. Mediocrity.
Yeah. So if I'm being completely honest, like, and it comes with the bad side too, because it comes with the me always feeling like I'm not doing enough. Like, I literally have my therapist tell me, Jada, it is literally invalid. Like, I'm sorry, but it is invalid for you to think that you are not doing anything. Like, that is incorrect.
That's a genetic composition. Yeah, I get it. Can't say I understand it.
Yeah, so this is the thing, like, it's always like it's just having that hunger to just keep going and then try something new. Like, before I went to college, it was always, I want to sing. That was it. It was, I want to sing. And really, actually, all my life, it was, I want to sing. But more towards the end of high school, I was like, I want to do theater. So it's singing and acting and dancing. And then when I got to college, it was, I want to do film. But I'm still passionate about singing, dancing, and acting in theater. But I'm also passionate about writing. So, but the thing is, like, there's the fact that there's just so much that I can be doing. And because I'm multi-talented, I want to be able to use all of my gifts and all of my skills. And I find that a lot of people who don't have a lot of things going for them, a lot of people's mindset, they'll tell me, just focus on one thing. Just focus on one thing. And I'm like, granted, like, putting all my energy into one thing, I'm pretty sure I will be super successful in it.
But technically, isn't that all one thing? Isn't all of that performing? Isn't that just one thing, right? Well, I don't know. Maybe.
It is, but this is the thing. I do YouTube. So I'm an influencer. I give advice, lifestyle advice. I sing, and singing. There's singing and performing on a stage, and then there's singing songwriting too, because, you know, songwriting is a different beast in itself. And then I like to write. But not only do I just like to, you know, just journal, but I like writing plays, writing movie scripts, writing books. I wrote my first book when I was 13 years old. I like dancing. I love choreographing things. I enjoy just being on camera in general. I enjoy photography. I bought a camera, took photography courses, and did all that. But it all helped me. Every single skill. I love editing. I love playing around with different softwares and everything. And little things go hand in hand, because if I'm editing my demo reel, I can do it myself instead of having somebody else pay for it. If I want my headshots done, I know how to direct somebody to take my headshots. So all of those skills help. But I think with me, it's just not being okay with not doing anything and just thinking that there's a point to where I've made it. Mm-hmm. So I will never, even whenever I have the most followers on the earth, even if I won every single Grammy, every single time, there's always more that I could be doing. So having the go-getter mindset that there's always more that I could be doing, and there's always more that I could be doing to give back and teach others and help others. And so I feel like that's what really separates me, is that drive and that hunger, and the ability to be okay with doing multiple things. Because when I talk to other people, it's just focus on one thing, pick one thing, just focus on one thing. You would already be so much bigger if you focused on one thing. And I do believe if I put all my energy into one area, I probably would, but multiple streams of income and like, hello. And also I'm passionate about multiple things. I'm sorry that I like to write multiple different things, but I also like to act in it. Like, I'm not even gonna apologize for that, because in the end, I'm gonna benefit and I can learn so much more. And everything that I've learned has helped me down the line. Learning every single skill, everything has helped me down the line. So I think it's helped me to become a more well-rounded individual too, as well, and doesn't put me in a box. Because guess what? Having those additional talents and being good at all these other random skills, what if your role that in a film requires you to do that? I know how to play clarinet. What if I get a role where she's a clarinet player and she's a lead in the movie and that's a requirement? So those people who are just saying focus on one thing, that's not going to help me get that role. Granted, they could pay if they really want me. They can have me take lessons and everything because if they really want an actor, they will pay to get you those lessons. But an actor that already has it all together, who's the full package, come on.
That made me think about the Ray movie, and we know someone who was associated with that movie, but I think about how well he pulled that off, and we know that him being able to play the piano was a big edge in being able to do impersonation so well, which was funny that, Ray started his career with the impersonations, but I usually piss people off in conversations with this comment because I believe it's just the purest of words. And they always want to kind of, shift it around a little bit. But I always say everybody has choices. In fact, one of my favorite songs is by E40, Everybody's Got Choices. And I believe there's a choice in every situation. Now, I never claim that it's always a good choice, but there's always a choice. And so in having so many negative opportunities and negative distractors around you at all the times just in society, how do you condition your mind to daily make the choice of not going over here off the deep end, and dealing with the negative things, which we all know is even more influenced in the entertainment industry.
So by negative things, are we talking about indulging in like negative things? Can you give me an example of what a negative thing is? So what you're referring to right now?
Drug experimentation, sex elevation. I guess that's what they call it. Sex exploitation or whatever, I guess. All these different things that are just way more plentiful than the next opportunity role, a role opportunity, and in that process, it's like all around, but you got straight A's, and you're on the dean's list, and you had a job, and you have healthy relationships and balanced family life, but you made a video. But how do you make the choice daily? Or let me ask that differently.
Okay.
There's an 18-year-old right now that's about to go into their holiday break. And they may be traveling to go see some family or having some family come in town that they haven't seen for a while. Or they may come back and some friends they associate with have gone seen some family. And there's going to be a moment where they're introduced to an opportunity. What would you say to them about that negative opportunity?
I would say, is it worth your time? And is it worth the future that you're trying to build and what you're trying to build for yourself? And also, I would ask them, how quickly can you bounce back? Because this is the thing. I will say, I was a party animal my freshman year of college, every single weekend. But every single person who I was partying around was looking at me crazy when I made that dean's list. Because this is the thing. It's about time management. And also, sometimes it's just about saying no and learning how to say no. But
well, let me ask you this. We've already established that you're a strange supernova. So when you say, well, is it worth the time? or what the future you're trying to build. I do a lot of mentoring. And one of the most painful things I experience is when I talk to a young adult and the concept of future has managed to elude them. They're not thinking about it. They don't expect it. They don't have a plan for it. It's like they'll say they want a certain thing or a certain lifestyle, which I believe is heavily influenced by entertainment or what have you. But there's no plan in place as to how to achieve this lifestyle. It's like they think they'll just wake up and it magically happens. And in the meantime, like there's no other consequence for the daily choices they make.
Yeah, so imagining that future and having that future in mind, I feel like is important because it does hold me accountable. But again, like if I go back to that freshman year me, so I was at those parties every weekend. But before I went to those parties, all my homework was done. I wouldn't go to a party unless my homework was done. And I think that's also just the way I grew up because right when I got home, my mom was like, all right, you can get a snack, but start on that homework. And then you can get this and this and this, or then you could watch TV and then you could do all these things. So early on, just learning the importance of time management and prioritizing what's important and what's going to prioritizing the tasks that are going to be beneficial towards what you're trying to build and where you're trying to go and how in the areas that you're trying to grow at the same time. So I think, for the people who don't know exactly what they're doing or don't have an idea of exactly where they're going to go, I just think at that point, you just need to start examining your habits and start participating in habits that are going to be beneficial towards you. So being surrounded all the time by these negative things, I see a lot of people throwing so many things away and losing more than they bargained for. So seeing the end result of a lot of things is also what kept me from indulging in those things. And it still does. And also integrity. I know who I want to be, and I know the role model that I want to be, and I know how I want the impact that I want to have on this earth and the people who are learning from me and who are just watching everything that I do. Because I didn't realize how many people are actually watching me even right now. And how many people just pay attention, even the people who I'm not the biggest fan of and who I think isn't the biggest fan of me, but they're watching and they're always watching. So why would I give them the satisfaction of seeing me throw everything that I've been working so hard towards? It's not worth throwing everything away that I've been working for. So to me, what keeps me grounded and keeps me from doing it is like, I've come so far. Why would I do it? Why would I indulge in this? What's the point? What am I going to gain? Is the loss and is indulging in this worth the cost? If it's not, I'm not doing it. And then also is just surrounding yourself with like-minded people and with people who want to grow and with people who you can also learn from as well. So having good influences in my ear. So a lot of the times, sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm like, this looks a little fun, or maybe I should post this, or, maybe I should do this. And then I have my friends that are like, Jada, be for real. And then sometimes the people who are indulging in it will say, I don't want you to go down the same path that I did. And also, I feel like also being willing and open-minded enough to seek wisdom from those who have experienced it and have overcame those obstacles, and it was too late for them. I can't tell you how many times I talk to people who are like in their like 70s or 80s telling me a lesson that I've already known and learned 5 years ago. So really it's just being open-minded and also paying attention to and being mindful of the consequences of your actions and the end result Is it going to get me any step closer to my goal? Because I'm sorry, I'm all about not wasting my time. Don't waste my time. That's precious. I can't get that back. So
that's interesting that you said that. We're going to go deeper into that right after this. We're going to pay some bills, and we're also going to check out give y'all a little tease on one of Jada's videos right after this.
This is Dr. Tamia Guest with Rejuvenating Chiropractic.
This is Nara Reed with Modified Nutrition Health Coach.
This is Karen Marcel with June Street Barbershop.
This is Tiffany Marcel with Marcel Luxury Realty, and you're listening to Boss Talk Radio.
I paid the call to be born.
Have you ever said,
I'll hire an accountant when my business becomes profitable.
are you working with an accountant that's only providing bookkeeping and tax services?
Get behind the shield.
The experts at Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services has a solution. Virtual CFO services can put your business in the black faster and help you make data-driven decisions. Boss Virtual CFO Services offers strategic planning, risk management, reporting analysis, HR financial guidance, tax planning, and much more. Schedule your consultation today at elite8financial.com or give us a call at 866-2-ELITE-8. Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services, what your business needs before it needs it.
As promised, here's a clip of Miss Jada Jay's video.
Play me like a fool. You took my love for granted. Now you found another and my heart can't take it anymore. Maybe 'cause I'm jealous. You recognize her worth the first time.
I'm sure people have told you that your voice is big for such a little person.
I hear that all the time.
So tell us a little bit about that project, that video. You have an LP you released, and you're not signed to a major record deal. And so how'd you get a video?
So I have an EP that's released. It's basically, this was the song, my first single after finishing my EP. So this single, I honestly wrote this song for closure, if I'm being completely honest. What the song is about didn't directly happen to me per se. Certain elements of it did. So I'm one to let my emotions out in a creative way, because I mean, get upset and do drugs, party, and then wake up and have to deal with those emotions later, or create a song, make some money off of it, and have other people relate to it and, you know, build an audience. Hey, you know, so
again, there was another example of those choices. I wanted to ask you, though, I've been meaning to ask you for some time now, who was the creative director and screen director for this video?
Me. So I came up with.
No, I'm not asking who wrote the song. I'm asking who directed the video. Like, pick the costume. Wow.
I did everything. I casted it. I wrote the song. I wrote the vision for the music video. I explained everything. I taught my friends how to work the camera. I showed them examples of the shots. I got behind the camera, showed them exactly what I wanted, and then I got in front of the camera, and then they press record.
So you're kind of like, it's funny I'm making that analogy again, but like you're kind of like Ray Charles when he first met the 8-track machine.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I did all that myself. I edited it myself. That was my first time editing an entire music video. And now it's nominated for Best Music Video in the Texas Indie Filmmaker Award. So I will find out in March if I won, but right now I am a finalist. So
congratulations on that nomination. So True story. This actually happened. Had no idea this was going to get this good or whatever. And so what we're going to have to do is a part 2 because we're on the time limit. And so we're going to get right out of here with 2 parts of something Jada's done. We're going to replay the clip for the video for you, and then you get to hear her close out. And we'll have her back here next week for a major announcement. You don't want to miss this. In the meantime, you can follow her at Jada Jay Music on IG, TikTok, and Twitter. You can also follow her on Facebook at Jada Jay or at Louisiana Baby J on Snapchat, because I'm guessing Snapchat is still a thing. Whatever, I had heard of it in a minute.
That's how I will admit, okay?
We will see you guys again on next week.
Play me like a fool. You took my love for granted. Now you found another, and my heart can't take it anymore. Maybe 'cause I'm jealous. You recognize her worth the first time. Boss talk radio, keeping it real, yeah, that's for sure. I said a boss talk radio, here for your needs, we'll crack the code. He the boss, ooh, he the boss, ooh, yeah, he the boss, he's the boss, he the boss, he the boss.